Hello guys, it's Ninad here and today we are going to see how we get the well-known Clausius-Clapeyron equation which is studied or derived in thermodynamics while applied in phase transition or phase rule. Now let us try to understand this concept. Suppose say we have a system where there is equilibrium between two different phases of a substance. Equilibrium may be between solid and liquid, example water, at 0 degrees Celsius. 0 degrees Celsius is the melting point as well as freezing point of water, and if the temperature is kept constant, we can observe that the ice does not melt, but still we can see water on its surface. This was for the equilibrium between solid and liquid, and now we will talk about the equilibrium between liquid and gas, where the liquid undergoes vaporization while the gas condenses simultaneously. Water is the best example to understand this system, and we will also be using the same example to derive our equation. It can also happen that a equilibrium between solid and gas is seen where solid undergoes sublimation, that is, the solid converts into gas without coming into liquid state, and simultaneously the gas turns into solid. We will look upon the second case where liquid is in equilibrium with its vapors, and for this we will take water because it is very easy to understand and relate as we see these phenomena in our day-to-day lives. Before starting the derivation, we will clear out some small things. We have considered water system in equilibrium for our derivation, but cannot use the phase terms liquid and gas everywhere in the derivation. To reduce the work, we will term the liquid phase as A, which is our initial phase, and we term gaseous or vapor state as B, which is the final phase. First, we will talk about the Gibbs free energy of water. At liquid state, water will have Gibbs free energy as Ga and at vapor phase as Gv. On subtracting Gv minus Ga, we get the difference delta G that states what type of reaction it is. When delta G equals to negative, it states that it's a spontaneous reaction, and when we have positive delta G for the same, it's non-spontaneous reaction. And when we get Ga minus Gb, that is delta G, as 0, it states that the reaction is in equilibrium. To the equilibrium reaction, we add a little heat. On adding heat, the equilibrium gets disturbed but automatically stabilizes after a certain amount of time. We note this change in Gibbs free energy as delta Ga and delta Gb for the two phases. We get Ga plus delta Ga for phase A and Gb plus delta Gb for phase B. We note that before applying heat to the reaction, Gibbs free energy of A was equal to that of B. We get a equation Ga plus delta Ga equals to Gb plus delta Gb, where we can cancel Ga and Gb as they are equal, and we get delta Ga equals to delta Gb, that is, small change in Gibbs free energy of A equals to small change in Gibbs free energy of B. Now we take the Maxwell square equation, that is delta G equals to V delta P minus S delta T, and substitute it in equation 1, where V is the volume and S is the entropy. On substituting in Maxwell squares equation, in place of dGA we get VA delta P minus SA delta T equal to VB delta P minus SB delta T in place of delta GB. Then we sort out the similar terms and get VA delta P minus VB delta P equal to SA delta T minus SB delta T. Now we take the similar terms common and get VA minus VB delta P equal to SA minus SB delta T. Change in pressure per unit change in temperature. This is the relation we had to find. That is, if temperature changes, then how pressure will be affected in the system. Change in pressure per unit change in temperature will be equal to SA minus SB whole divided by VA minus VB. From both these we take the minus common, so this will be equal to minus of SB minus SA and minus of VB minus VA. Minus minus gets cancelled and we get an equation delta P upon delta T equals to delta S, that is change in entropy, upon delta V, that is change in volume. This is the equation that we get. There is another thermodynamic equation where delta S can be written as heat supplied or Q divided by temperature T. On substituting this in the above equation, we get delta P upon delta T equals to Q by T into delta V. In simple relation, if we have to find how much pressure changed per unit temperature, then you just have to know what was the initial temperature, heat supplied, and change in volume. This equation written here is known as Clapeyron equation. This equation tells us about phase transition, that is, when something goes from one phase to another, what is the relation between pressure and temperature. Now we will try and get the integrated form of this equation because we are talking about liquid and gas. The formula we had got was delta P by delta T equals to Q by T into delta V. Now we can take this delta V as Q by T bracket VB minus VA. We have an equilibrium where we have water in liquid state in equilibrium with water in gaseous state. The liquid state is a state and B is a gaseous state. Now let us try to understand the phase transition. So we write delta P by delta T equals to, before that, when liquid goes to vapor phase, we call it vaporization, right? So how will you write the enthalpy of vaporization? For 1 mole. Now whatever we are doing is for 1 mole because we don't want the n factor to be there. So we'll write delta H of vaporization divided by temperature, and VB will be volume of gas and VA is the volume of liquid. Now we all know that volume of gas is much greater than volume of liquid. So we write the equation as delta P by delta T equals to delta H of vaporization by T into Vg is the volume of S, because volume of gas is very much larger than volume of liquid, hence subtracting 0.001 from 1 doesn't make much difference. I hope you understand. Now we have to make an integrated form of this equation. Integrated equations are those equations that tell you if you change temperature from T1 to T2, then what will be the change in pressure 1 to pressure 2. To get the integrated equation, we begin with rearranging the equation. Over here, I have to substitute the volume of gas for 1 mole. Hence, we take the equation Pv equals to nRT and value of n equals to 1 for 1 mole. We get Pv equals to RT. Therefore, V equals to RT by P. Now we substitute volume of V in equation 2 and we get delta H of vaporization by T. The P will move up, that is multiplied by P and RT. Now we get delta P by delta T equals to delta H of vaporization into P by T square R. Now we take the pressure below and we have 1 by P into delta P equals to delta H by RT square into dt. This is how we have rearranged it. Now whenever we get such form of equation, we can write them as derivative of ln of P equals to delta H by R dt by T square. Since we have to find the integrated equation, we integrate this equation from P1 to P2. We have derivative ln of P equals to delta H by R integrated from T1 to T2 dt by T square. Now integrating this, we get ln of P from P1 to P2 equals to delta H by R
bracket minus 1 by t from t1 to t2. I have cut out some mathematical steps. Now when we solve this, we get ln of p2 minus ln of p1 equals to delta h by r bracket 1 by t2 minus 1 by t1. So we can write this as ln of p2 by p1 equals to delta h by r bracket 1 by t1 minus 1 by t2. This is the Clausius-Clapeyron equation that we are going to use everywhere. And thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have learned something about the concept.